Hey everyone, this is Kieran. Today's exercise is looking at some external rotation of the shoulder. So it'll help strengthen up some of the muscles at the back of your shoulder. And I've got a few videos on this channel covering this, but I haven't quite done this particular setup. And I'll explain why this one's different and also useful to include in a shoulder rehab program. So briefly, just remove this arm. When we're thinking about external rotation of the shoulder, what we're talking about is the shoulder's ability to turn out. We'll go like how my arm's going right now. Now you can do this here, you can do it here, here, you can even do it with a straight arm and turn the thumb out like this. And it's a common loss of range of motion in the shoulder after injuries. Coupling with that, so we think about the movement we just talked about as a ball here moving in the socket. We also consider the shoulder blade. And to get maximal reach, so we're not saying maximal external rotation, because maximal external rotation would be talking about the shoulder joint, but maximal reach back into this position, you also need some shoulder blade retraction. So you need this guy to come back so that this can allow you to reach further back. So what I mean to say is I could move my shoulder blade forward and protract, and if I externally rotate my shoulder joint, that's the same amount of external rotation as if now I retract my shoulder blade and get further back. So a lot of external rotation exercises are going to be trained in more of a mid or protracted position. Totally useful, totally relevant, but also it's good to have it in this retracted position too, because that's going to be where we end up when we throw, for example, or even catching stuff to a degree or pressing overhead. So let's go over what that looks like. So we're just going to keep this really simple. And by simple, meaning that we don't have to think too hard about it. When you throw some cognitive load into things, so you're learning a new skill, it's not that that's a bad thing, but it can take away from learning the motor skill a little bit. And later on, there's benefit to that, sort of in a more performance-based environment. But right now, we're just trying to introduce a new movement, and we want to make it easy to feel and easy to do. So really, we want to put the arm in a position where the shoulder blade is retracted, and then it has to hold that position while the arm moves from internal to external rotation. So what does that look like? I've got 1 kilo here. You might start with no weight. Because my arm is resting here on the edge of the bed, my shoulder blade is just going to be more retraction just by nature of the arm being there. And so now if I do my rotation, sorry if the mic gets a bit messed up here on the bed, and I'm just lifting my head so I can talk, but what this does is it allows, like I said, that shoulder blade position to be there the whole time. I can't go into the protracted position because my arm isn't allowing it. And it's just a different exercise than if you were to do it in, say, this really common sort of sideline position. Again, not bad. This just allows some more ranges to be had. So how would you start off with this? I'd be thinking about starting with the weight of your arm. We're learning a new skill, so volume is important. So I'd be thinking around 30 reps or so, 20 to 30. Once you can do about 30 reps comfortably, then try a little half kilo or kilo. That could also be like a can of beans at home. That's roughly about a half kilo. And then what would you push this up to? Well, I mean, it's kind of a where's the bar? I mean, you could push it as far as you'd like. Mechanically, as far as being an advantageous position and being able to lift heavy amounts of weight, probably not the position for it, because you need contribution of other, like trunk muscles, for example. So an example of that would be a Cuban rotation. So I'll pop a video of that here, and that's me demonstrating a similar type of movement, but in a standing position with a barbell. What are some other options there? Well, thinking, I guess, about the other protracted positions for the shoulder blade, I'll just pop a couple here. So I've got one where I'm seated here with my elbow on my knee, and then I've got some sideline positions here. And then that way you're working through the whole spectrum and should cover that rehab. What are you really trying to even out? Well, the research would seem to support asymmetry. So measure one side, measure the other, try and get them somewhat even. Some sports have normative values you could aim for. So I'd be looking into that specifically if you want a goal to aim for. But Otherwise, probably 2 kilos is probably what I'd push this to, and then I'd start moving into some more challenging positions. And then, as always, with any rehab program involving this kind of movement, you want to include some throwing and catching as well, because that's part of what the shoulder can do with these muscles. If you have any questions, please ask below. Yeah, I think this is a nice addition, and hopefully you find it useful. If you like this video, then please hit like below. Otherwise, to check out more of our content in the future, you can subscribe to our channel by clicking our logo over here. And to check out our latest video, click up here.